Hello, Matrix Live. Welcome to Season 3, Episode 21. This is set to go out on the 12th of April, so I hope it's the 12th of April, wherever you are watching this, whatever country you happen to be in. I'm Ben. I hope you know me. You are talking today with Slavi. Hello, Slavi.
Hey, Ben, and hello, everyone else.
Hi.
Hey.
So Slavi, you may have seen him around the Matrix community. He is involved in creating the matrix-docker-ansible-deploy project and Matrix Corporal, among other things. So why don't you tell us about what you've been doing, Slavi?
So, well, these are the projects around Matrix that I've been involved with. So it started a bit as a joke in 2017. I wanted to get a Matrix server running. And there didn't seem to be a good way to actually do it. It seemed like a manual process and too many services to deploy. So I figured I should probably do something about that. And like all free software projects, it starts by doing it for yourself. And then at some point I figured, well, this is going to be useful for other people. So that's when it became public. But, yeah. So the goal was installing Matrix just for myself and all the related services around it.
Awesome. So of course, I mean, in 2017 there were far fewer related services, right? You know, the Docker playbooks or the Ansible playbooks these days there's a long list of things.
Yeah, sure. It started a lot smaller than it is now, but still it contained a few services at least. It was the Synapse chat server. You had the Postgres database that you needed. You had the Riot Web client. You had Coturn for WebRTC audio-video calls. So it's at least something like 4 services that you had to...
Okay, so that's interesting. You had things like Coturn in really early. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was actually at that point we were using, there wasn't an official Synapse Docker image. So we were using another one, which was bundling Coturn inside of it. And later on, we switched to Coturn being a separate component and using the official image. But we did have it from the beginning, like all these services working together.
Okay, that's cool. So do you use this in your work, or is this purely a community effort? Is this just something you wanted to do for yourself?
It was like that in the beginning, just like a hobby project, just no commercial purposes behind it. And right now, I'm gonna have some projects involving Matrix. Some commercial projects, but it's not a commercial playbook or anything like that. So it's just a hobby thing.
Okay, that's cool though, that you've got client work that entails, needing.
Yeah. Matrix is really cool, and people are starting to notice that and liking it. And I think I'm going to be seeing more and more Matrix projects in the future. Yeah,
I mean, it's definitely, we're seeing an uptick of people, even if all they really want is to host their own chat system. That's.
And Riot is more polished nowadays, and everything is better. So I think it's starting to probably going to get mainstream.
Yeah, this year I think it really will. Do you think? Sorry, we're going off a little off topic, but do you think that your commercial clients, are they going to be interested in federation? Are they going to want to federate?
Probably a private one between their own servers, but who knows in the future? It could be like the French government, like looking to open it up in the future. As other companies probably get their own Matrix servers as well. Why not? They could probably decide to connect to each other.
Yeah, I mean, in principle, there's no reason for them not to, right? It's the same as email works today. You have your internal server and you email between your internal staff. But
sure.
You'd be able to connect with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, I mean, with email, we wouldn't even ask the question whether you'd be allowed.
You wouldn't be building private email servers, I guess.
Yeah, when you put it in those terms, it doesn't make sense. All right, so you chose Ansible and Docker as your foundation deployment technologies. Was that an obvious choice for you?
Well, I guess was. I was building Ansible playbooks for other projects, and it was kind of a continuation of that. It's simply the easiest way to automate some server. There's a lot of different other ways, but this is like the most accessible one. You just get the server, you have SSH, and then you can just automate stuff on it. And about Docker, there are some alternatives now for doing containers, like Podman and others. And we've even looked into using those. But using Docker is much easier to get like networking running between services. So it was kind of an obvious choice to pick those, especially like a year and a half ago.
I mean, the thing is, the external, but if we look outside Matrix, the external community for Docker is absolutely tremendous. You know, it's used everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you feel about, you know, you're now working on a project that a lot of people are paying attention to. You know, you have a bunch of users who are constantly using your tools to deploy their own sign-up servers. How do you feel about, first of all, the responsibility and also the kind of requests that you get, because you do your own community management in your Matrix room, right? So how do you handle that?
Yeah, well, so far it's not much pressure, but sometimes it's time demanding, and you get a lot of requests or like code contributions or people submitting issues, like they're trying to run it in a different way. They have a different setup or a different server organization or something like that. So sometimes it happens that you get quite a lot of requests, which is a little bit of pressure, but so far it's okay, and I try to respond quickly and keep it all under control.
Yeah, I mean, I've always seen very fast responses in your room. I think that you have a few fans as well who are, you know, contributing in the room.
Yeah, sure. And I probably couldn't have done it without them. So there are lots of people helping in the room, and not just the room, but also in issues. So it's nice to have the community kind of start to take care of itself. And yeah, that's a really happy moment for me to see them stepping in. So that's nice.
Is there anybody in particular that you'd like to comment or?
Well, I don't know if I comment on someone, I'm probably gonna forget somebody else. But they know who they are.
Yeah. All right. They get the warm feeling. Okay, so can we talk about the project itself? What components do you install right now? So, and which are the default components?
So we already discussed some of those. It's the Synapse server. It's like the central part, and it's backed by the Postgres database, which we install as well. We install the Riot Web client. We install so as soon as you start using Riot Web, you're gonna see the audio video call functionality, and then you're gonna need a turn server. So we install callturn. We install, you're also going to see something called an identity server. So we install MXISD as well by default.
Right.
What else do we install? We install various bridges for Synapse if you want. Those are not defaults, but you can bridge to Discord, IRC. What else was there? I think we had a couple of more. WhatsApp and Telegram, yeah.
Right, okay.
So we have 4 bridges right now, and these are all community contributions. So I haven't done any bridge setup myself. So
right. Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. So, so how do you do things like testing for those?
I've tested some of those on a test server, but on my main server that I use, I've never set up any bridges, and I'm kind of keeping it clean.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If you're using it for yourself or for business, then it's to keep it simple.
Yeah. So what else? We recently we got a big contribution getting the Dimension integration manager. So that was something I've been wanting to work on to set it up using the playbook, and never getting the time, so always postponing it. So recently we got a contribution setting it up, so that's quite nice. It's not a default because it's a bit it requires that you already have a server running and you get an access token or something like that. So we can't really make dimension a default right now, but you can easily install it after the initial setup.
Cool. I mean, and did you get support from Travis, the author, on that, or was that purely from the community?
It was purely from the community, but we found some like setting it up in different configurations. We found some like deficiencies in dimension, and so I'm submitting issues and like so that Travis can improve.
Yeah. That's nice to have such a a two-way relationship.
Yeah, and we have one like that with the MX-ISD founder. So it's nice to keep a close connection and be aware of what changes are coming up or what is the best way to set it up. So
absolutely, and I mean it benefits everybody to have a consistent way of deploying things. So yeah, everybody's going to want to be involved in that.
Sure, yeah.
Cool. So what else do you think could be added? What would you like to support out of community projects today?
So what's interesting to me coming in the future is workers. Well, you can do workers right now as well, but Travis and Halfshot are working on some really interesting worker projects. So I guess that's really going to improve performance, and I'd like to see that going into the playbook. So support for running workers and potentially choosing what kind of workers you'd like to run, whether it's the Synapse default regular workers, or you want to use that .NET project that they are working on. So it's going to be nice to have that.
Yeah, it's really exciting to know that, first of all, that there are Synapse workers that can improve the scaling. So it's going to be pretty cool if you start to deploy that. But also having a choice of workers is awesome in itself, and I think it's going to really extend the life of Synapse as a performance project.
Yeah, and I guess we have to do that until Dendrite comes along. So it's going to be really nice.
Servers, there's lots of, I say lots. There are other servers in the works, but yeah, I mean until Dendrite as well.
Yeah, or others. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So it's going to be nice to have choice. So in the future, I'm envisioning like the playbook could give you some choice in what kind of, even now you have choice in which components you want to install. So you can skip over whichever component you don't like. But in the future, I guess we could have alternatives for each type of component. Yeah. So right now, there's not too much choice. For example, you want a fully featured web client, there's just Riot. You want an identity server, it's just MX-ISD. So so there's one of each right now, kind of. But in the future, I don't see why we can't have more choice.
I mean, of course, having these choices means that there are exponentially more variations of the resulting playbook, which I guess is going to increase the load for testers. But
it's going to make it more complicated, and I guess that's one nice thing about using Docker. That it keeps things more nicely contained, so we don't have to worry so much about one thing breaking another. Like this bridge uses node 10 and this bridge uses node 6 or something. So we don't have conflicts like that right now, because everything is nicely contained and separate.
Cool. Okay, so do you have it set up so that we can see it running? That would be really cool.
So I guess we can do a demo where we set up a new server using the playbook.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if we could do that.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Cool. So I'm going to let you share the screen, and then I should be able to send you a message.
Sure. Yeah.
Independently. So I'm going to try and do that right now.
Well, I guess you'd better wait until we set up the server.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, otherwise it's going to try to federate before there's a server, and who knows when it's going to retry. So, okay. Okay, I've shared my screen.
I can see your GitHub.
Yeah, so this is the playbook page on GitHub. And so basically you're going to follow the documentation. And we have extensive documentation about various things. And So if you haven't seen it yet, you should like start from the docs folder, and it guides you through various things. And if you ever have trouble, you can reach us at the Matrix room in case you have a Matrix server running. It could be the public one as well, or you can reach out to us using IRC on the Freenode network.
Gotcha. So is that bridge to the same place?
Yeah, yep. It's a bridged room, so you get about 100 people answering questions right now, answering to your...
It's really impressive, the community.
Yeah, it is. So getting the playbook, you can clone using Git. That's what we recommend, so that in the future you can keep up to date with changes that we do, or you can download it as a zip file. So once you get the playbook, you have it locally on your computer, and you have a server somewhere, so you can start the installation procedure. And it's roughly like this. So we have an examples directory here. We're going to take the host file, and we'll modify it here. So I've chosen this matrix.devcher.net as my server for Matrix.
Okay.
And still, I'd like my identifiers to be just devcher.net to keep it clean. And you copy the vars file as well from the template directory. So now you set it up, which is something like this.
Yes.
Changing a few variables, what your matrix domain is, giving your email so that you can retrieve a Let's Encrypt certificate.
So the matrix domain is like what comes after the colon, right? It's like the second half of an email address. It's
sure. Yeah. So basically, if you do that, you're gonna get identifiers like this.
Yes.
Even though you are actually setting it up on a server, which is on another server, matrix.devcher.net.
Yes.
So for this to work, you have to set up server delegation, which is a step that we have skipped in this demo, but there's extensive documentation on how to do it.
Yes. And there's also, I can vouch for the helpfulness of people, because I've also been through this process. I can say it was very, even I was able to do it.
Sure, great. So this is what the initial setup would look like, your configuration, and you can add a lot of things here if you want to disable or tweak services. But this should be enough to get you running with all the basic necessities. So once you set it up like this, you are supposed to run the playbook, and I'm going to copy the command from the documentation.
Yes.
So we can run the command. It's probably gonna take a minute or two as it connects to your server. Oh, and we have a
live demo.
Live demo it's problematic. Oh,
what was the...
I have misplaced the file here. So okay. So you're supposed to create a folder under host vars and then put your variables file inside that folder. Okay, hopefully the live demo would work this time. So it's gonna start preparing your server, downloading Docker, installing it, and downloading all the other services as Docker images and setting them up and wiring them together. Also retrieving certificates from Let's Encrypt, as we've mentioned. So after a minute or two, you should get your server running. And we could probably give it a try after that.
Yeah, let's see. I hope it's testament to how fast this really is, and how simple the process is, especially if you already have some familiarity with Ansible and/or Docker.
Sure. So what we've done so far is, so it's just a simple configuration, and you just need to set up your DNS servers to create these host names to point to the right location, and then just run the playbook, and it will take care of everything by itself.
Amazing. Including federation?
Yeah, including federation. as long as you have set up the server delegation stuff correctly.
Okay.
So to set up server delegation in our setup like this, so that is to say, using the base domain while installing on another server.
Yeah.
So to do that, you need to set up a well-known file on your base domain server. So that's the only thing you need to do. And also you need to set up your DNS servers. That's what you need to do. And then you can use the playbook to set it up. So it looks like it has finished running.
Yeah.
So it has installed everything. And right now we can run the playbook with the start tag, telling it to start the services.
Okay.
And what we would like to do after that is register our first user. So we will refer to the documentation once again to copy the command for that. So
we got to wait for it to start.
Yeah. So services should be running now, and we can register our user. I'm gonna call it Slavi and give it a password of demo.
Yep.
And I would make it an admin.
Yes.
So you can create users like this. And so by default, the playbook is meant to be used in a private way. So you create the users by yourself, but you can also use it to set up a public server where people can register by themselves.
Yeah.
If you want to do that. But the default is a private server with ideally as many components self-hosted as possible.
To make that change, you'd have to edit the home server.yaml directly. Is that right?
No, you can just, you can keep editing your vars file. So just adding another setting right here, and it's gonna turn your server into a public one.
Okay.
So you can browse the variables for each component in its defaults server, defaults file, defaults directory. So you can find the relevant setting here, change it, rerun the playbook, and you would have it changed.
I see.
So I have registered a user now, and if we go to riot.devture.net, we should have Riot be installed and running, including the SSL certificates. So I should be able to log in with the user that I've created.
Which is Slavi colon.
Slavi.
Yeah, Slavi.
Right.
All right, cool. So I have you here. I'm going to see if I can invite you to a new room. Okay. Let's see. Hopefully you'll get an invite from matrix.org now.
Hopefully, yeah.
Hopefully. Live demo. Live-ish.
It might take some time. I don't know how matrix.org federation is right now.
No, I don't know either. So I can look. At this.
Oh, here it is.
There we go.
So it took some time, but there's the invite, and I can accept it.
Oh, there we go. I'm going to send you the message. Hello. All right. Hello, Slavi. Typing on my phone. Cool.
Oh, looks like it works, and it federates with other servers.
That's super impressive, I must say. That's really fast.
And the audio video calls should work, and you have your identity server running by default, so you can validate your email. So, yeah.
That's fab. That's really impressive. I mean, it's exactly what we want to see when it comes to people being able to quickly set up their own matrix server.
Sure, yeah. I guess short of using a hosting service, it's probably a super easy way to set it up. Yeah,
and I mean that's something that will probably come. I think we want to see more templated images on hosting services. But yeah, I mean, this is already really quick. Cool, man. Oops, where's the window? There we go. So thank you for showing us that demo. There's another project in the Matrix space you have that I was really curious about, which is it's called Corporal.
Yeah, it's called Matrix Corporal. So it was another project that I was kind of curious about in the past. It's still an active project. So basically what I wanted to do is have a server which is more managed. So, when people use Slack or something like that, they're going to have their default channels like general or like random or something like that. And everybody is pre-joined to those channels. And I'm not sure if you're locked into them, or you probably are. But so it gives you like a more like the default experience is just better. You don't have to join rooms or accept invites. Or
it's like if somebody joins a company, then they get invited to the correct rooms.
Yep. So that was my idea. So you get your company and you have various rooms, and it's up to you what kind of rooms you have or what kind of departments or other groups, and you can specify what those groups and users are and what kind of rooms they should be in, and Corporal just makes sure everybody is in the correct place. Gotcha. So when a new employee comes, they automatically get joined to the correct rooms. When they leave the company, they're automatically kicked out of those rooms. So it's kind of a managed experience like that. That was the idea.
I see. Okay, cool. And you're using it yourself?
Yeah, I have used it in one company that I'm doing business with. It's about 60, 70 people that we are using it with. So they're pre-joined, and so it's really simple. You just create the users in the company intranet, and that one Corporal takes that information and joins them to the correct rooms and manages everything.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something that with Slack, this is hundreds of pounds a month, hundreds of dollars a month.
Yeah, and it's not just the joining of rooms, it's also preventing people from doing certain things. Like you shouldn't be able to leave a room, you shouldn't be able to break the system, which can be by leaving a room or, for example, changing your name to something weird, unintentionally or intentionally, or changing your photo. Like it should come from like.
Does it prevent those things, or does it change it back when you do it by accident?
It prevents them. So it stands in front of the Matrix client server API, and it blocks out those requests.
I see.
So yeah.
Okay, so it's a proxy for the CS API.
Yes, yeah, it is. And the Ansible project that we've discussed until now, it can also deploy Corporal as well. And also other Synapse components, like different password providers, and connect them together.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean, the thing is, this is, it's something that if people need it, then it's super useful. If not, then, maybe it's not interesting to them.
Yeah, sure. And it's kind of in the beginning stages. So I guess it could be taken much further if there's interest by the community or somebody. So basically, I have solved my use case so far, and it can be improved a lot.
Scratch your own itch is what they say. This is business and for open source.
Yeah.
So okay, let's talk more generally about just Matrix and your use of it. What do you want to see out of the ecosystem in the future? You've been building stuff that you need. What do you think? What do you think would be best for Matrix now?
So, well, probably a higher performance server would be of interest for some people. I think, Synapse is not so bad for like regular deployments, chatting with like family and friends, but it can be improved for sure. Clients getting more polished. This already started happening with Riot. I guess we could see it on the mobile side as well. So I guess that's something I'd like to see. Improved clients for mobile devices.
I think there's going to be a lot more competition in the mobile space in the future. There seems to be a lot going on. There seems to be a lot more clients coming out. All right, cool. Yeah. Anything else you wanted to add, Slavi?
No, I guess not. Yeah, guess that's all.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for appearing on Matrix Live. Oh, a nice shirt, by the way.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that gift.
Matrix to Matrix. All right.
Yeah.
We'll sign off now. Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you.